Hey you guys, welcome back to What's the 504. I am your host Christy B. If you are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. And if you are returning, welcome back to my channel, you guys. So I know it's been a minute since I've really provided any commentary, but there is just so much going on right now, you guys. But I did want to jump on here. So yesterday I posted the Meg Thee Stallion video where she pretty much came out and stated that Tory Lanez had shot her. Whatever, I'm just going to continue to say alleged because we don't have any active charges that we know of just as of yet. So allegedly, she stated that Tory Lanez had allegedly shot her. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. Back when this story was first reported, it was reported that she had broken glass, right, that like got in her foot or cut her foot or something like that. Okay, so, but then she came out and clarified and said, no, it was not broken glass, that she was actually shot. Now, up until this point, she had not revealed what actually happened. She had never revealed, like, who shot her. Or none of these things were actually made clear at all, right? So then, on her IG Live, the day before yesterday, she went on live and actually came out and stated that Tory Lanez dry shot her, is what she said. Tory Lanez shot her from the car, allegedly. Okay, so the thing is, there's just some parts that's just not adding up within this statement that was made, right? Again, I love Meg Thee Stallion. She is very talented. I'm so happy for the success that her and Cardi have with the new WAP song and the WAP video. I think she's very talented. I'm a big Meg fan. I love her songs on the radio. All these great things. So I'm not here to bash her or anything like that. But she has gone on a public platform and stated what occurred, whatever, and there's just some parts that's just missing from this whole equation, and it's pretty like obvious, like it's like red flags everywhere, obvious. So the thing here is, she stated that there was 4 of them in the vehicle: her, security, her friend, Tory Lanez. Okay, so when she starts describing what occurred, she says that she's in the front seat and Tory Lanez is in the back seat. So another YouTuber had mentioned, like, okay, well, if you're, messing around with Tory Lanez, why aren't you in the back seat with him? Or why is he in the back and you're in the front? Whatever. I'm like 50-50 on this, because I feel like, okay, if this was a normal planned outing type situation, yes, then it might be a little questionable. Like, okay, well, why aren't you sitting together? But like when you're in a situation where you're kind of like, it's a group of you guys and you're kind of going out and they're stopping from, they were supposedly went to like 2 or 3 different parties in this one night. So if it's that kind of situation, everybody's just kind of hopping in the vehicle, they go to the party, have a little fun. Okay, let's move on to the next spot. Everybody kind of just jumps in and you move on to the next spot. So it's not like a whole lot of thought really being put into like where you're going to sit or who's going to sit next to who. So in that situation, I would say that's 50-50. That could be questionable, but maybe not, because if they were just going about town, again, when you're in big groups like that, I mean, it happens. It happens. So that part is not so much to me as big of a deal. But when she gets to about 2 minutes and 18 seconds on the post that I did, on the video I uploaded, at about 2 minutes and 18 seconds, she says that when the police showed up, that the police were aggressive, of course, and that they told all of them to get out the vehicle. So what is confusing about that is that apparently neighbors had called the police because they had already heard gunshots. So when she makes this statement about, well, when the police showed up, they told us all to get out of the vehicle, that part is a little confusing, because how did you end up back in the vehicle after being shot? Because what she stated was, we were all in a vehicle, we were all arguing. We were all arguing. That's another point. Like, well, what were all 4 of you arguing about? Like, it's not like if she just said, well, me and Tory were arguing about something and he got angry and this and that happened. She said we were all arguing. So that's number one. Like, well, gosh, what are all of you possibly like arguing about? Okay, so but then she says she was tired of arguing. She didn't want to keep going back and forth. She gets out of the car, and then allegedly Tory Lanez shoots her from the car and she gets shot in the foot. So then it's like, well, if you were already out of the car and shot, how is it that when the police showed up, the police told all of y'all to get out of the car? Like, how did you end up back in the vehicle? And if you weren't in the vehicle, well, how long were you standing there after being shot before the police came out? That's another confusing part. So, like, if you were already out of the car, and let's just say she didn't clarify correctly. Let's just say she was already outside of the car after being shot, And some time went by, so that would mean she was just standing there bleeding. And then police showed up and said, okay, everybody get out of the car. But the way she describes it, it's almost as if she was in the car as well. But that's confusing because, like, no person that I know of would get back into the car in which the shots came from. So if someone just shot you from the car, who's going to hop back into the car? You know what I mean? So maybe that's just a part that she just not really clear on. Maybe she was already out of the vehicle, but it's just kind of confusing. And if he shot through the vehicle, wouldn't the police have proof that he shot the gun? Because they would have gun residue. So we already know that he was picked up and, he got like the possession charge. But like, if the gun was shot, they would have residue, so they'd be able to link that gun went off and shot her. Secondly, like, when he shot from the vehicle, did he shoot through the window, or did he shoot through the door, or did he tell the driver, like, hey, roll the window down, let me shoot her? Like, how exactly did this occur? Did he open the door and like just shot at her foot and then close the door back? Like, it's just kind of confusing. Like, it's not really clear how this just all transpired. You know what I mean? And what's also confusing is, if you see the original footage that TMZ had initially pulled up when all of this first went down and they thought it was broken glass at first. If you see that footage, it's like the whole middle part of her body is like blurred out, and it's almost as if she wasn't like dressed. So then I'm kind of like, well, why was she, if they're out and about, she's not wearing any clothes? Like, I know that they were like at a pool party, whatever, so that means you probably had on like a thong bikini or something like that, but it's still confusing because you said you hopped out of the car. Well, who hops out of the car when they're not even dressed at like 1 o'clock? This was like early in the morning, like 1 o'clock in the morning, right? So if you arguing back and forth, all of y'all arguing, you hopped out the car, but you hopped out the car in the middle of a neighborhood. You weren't home yet. You already said you were like 5 or 10 minutes away from your house. So you just hopped out of the car in your bikini like that and was just like walking away. But where were you walking to by yourself and you weren't even fully dressed? Because that was something I was like, well, okay, well, they got on video, okay, this happened, that's like really messed up or whatever. But then I was kind of like, well, why is it blurred as if she's not like dressed or so? What's going on here? But then I said, okay, well, she was at a pool party, so who knows what went down. But now that she's coming out and saying she got out of the car and was walking away, well, this is like 1 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the neighborhood. I mean, even if you're familiar with the neighborhood, the point is you weren't even dressed. I mean, the camera footage shows it's all blurred in that middle area because you only see her from the back, and you see that she's clearly like in a state of shock, right? She's like walking on her tippy toes, so clearly she was injured, but it's just kind of like, it's so much that's kind of like not clear. And then there was like, before this statement that she just made, day before yesterday, it was also stated that like the cop brought her to the hospital, like the police officer drove her to the hospital. So that part is kind of confusing because that's kind of odd. I'm not saying police officers don't do that, but I'm just saying it's just kind of odd that if gunshots were reported, they told y'all all to get out the car. But I know you're scared. I'm like, anybody should be scared in that situation. But like, why wouldn't they have called an ambulance to come and check you out and make sure everything was good and then take you to the hospital? The fact that I'm almost going to say she said it, but I'm not going to say that she said it. I'm trying to remember that I do recall initially it was being stated that the cop drove her to the hospital. I'm like, well, I've never really heard of a cop just driving somebody that's just, I don't know. It's just, if they were in a situation where these 4 people were suspected to have had gunshots go off, I just don't see a cop just loading her in the car. She's not even like fully dressed. She's bleeding from the foot. I just don't see a cop just loading them in their car and just driving her to the hospital. Like, it seemed like they would have called an ambulance to come check her out, check her vitals, make sure everything was good, and then they take her to the hospital. So it's so many little different things that's just kind of like, I don't know, it's just not adding up. And even with the broken glass, I was thinking, like, okay, well, maybe if the shots went off, maybe it shattered the window or something, and that's how the broken glass. Well, we still don't really get clarity on where the broken glass situation came from. Maybe there was like a bottle on the floor in the car, and I don't know. It's just some stuff that's just, it's just not really clear, and at this point, it's almost like it would have been, probably better for her to just post like a written post on her page, just be like, you guys have been wondering what happened. I'm just finally going to say yes, Tory shot me or whatever, and just kind of like leave it at that, because now this is all on a public platform. And even if she wasn't speaking before, well, now this is all public and it's all recorded with her face and everything on it. So there's no like saying like, oh, somebody hacked my account. There's no really, like, you can't really take it back. Like, so if the police, should come across this at some point, which is a public platform at any point, like, they can pull this and then like be questioning like, okay, well, you said this, Megan, this and that, but according to this, whatever, I don't know. I'm just speaking hypothetically, you guys, but I just kind of, was just wondering. There's just some things that's just not clear about it. Again, I do not condone domestic violence. That Tory Lanez really did this. He is like so wrong for this. And I just wish that she would have probably reported this when it first happened, because now it's like, what's going to happen from this point? It wasn't reported when it first happened. She said she was scared, with the climate that we're in and with the police, and she didn't really want to get him in trouble or whatever. But it's kind of like, if he really did do this, that was just like really cruel to do, especially knowing that, your career stems off of you rapping and dancing. So if you were intentionally shot in the foot, that's kind of like a pretty purposely done thing. It's pretty deliberate. So I don't know, you guys. Who can say what we would do in that situation? She's a new artist. She probably had a lot of things running through her mind, like what was the best way to handle it, whatever. So, I guess she just handled it the way that she thought was best. Again, I do not condone domestic violence. Like I said, I do think that, charges probably should be pressed. If he really did do this, that's really messed up. That's really messed up. So that's all, you guys. I just kind of wanted to just get that out there. Like, I don't really it's some things that's just not clear. And like I said, I almost wish that she would have just did a regular post, like just posted like a statement and just kept it moving. But I get it. She said, he was going around saying something different, and she said his, team was like saying something different and not telling the truth and all these kind of things, and she just wanted to clear her name. So I totally get it. Again, I think Megan is super talented, and I just wish she would never got have involved in this situation. She already had the contract situation going on with the record label, and I just wish she wouldn't even had this going on. But, you live and learn. So, I'm just happy that she's back on her feet now, and she's, you know, back in the grind of things and healing okay and able to get back to her music, what's most important to her and stuff. And she actually has a online performance that she's going to do on August 29th. She's advertising on her page, The Stallion, on her Instagram page. So if you guys want to go and support, you can purchase tickets for that. Yeah, so I'm just glad that she's doing okay now, and we will see how this plays out, you guys. Okay, thank you for watching. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, go ahead and put some comments below. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel about the situation. And yeah, you guys take care. Okay, smooches.